Welcome to my tier list for Omniheroes. It's going to be about Ethereal and Val. I won't be talking about the other synergies because I'll be here for like an hour plus and no one's going to watch an hour video. So I'm just going to do the main classes people want to watch, is Val and Ethereal. I'll say they're the most popular ones because they do damage and everyone wants to be doing damage early game, do a blitz through the game. And they have some cool characters too. But apart from that, this is going to be about the character itself and not the actual rune sets. The rune sets will make a character better than what it is because they have like unique things about the character what can make them even better. I won't be talking about that because a lot of people won't have exclusive runes, and I think a rune video would be something that is I can do in the future as a rune video and not a character video. This is going to be like the character's potential, and if you have one copy or two copies of this character, it's going to be stronger or good or bad or whatever. So the first one we're going to talk about is he's like the ethereal healer, right? Yeah, I would say he's to me like he's like team like SS to me. I was going to put him in S, but I didn't have thought about it. The only bad thing about him is his last synergy. His last synergy is not that good. For him, if he's paired up with Katarina, they both have the same synergy apart from the demon, or not demon, the celestial and royal. But they're both ethereal and they're both protectors. So again, late game, he gets more tanky, hard to kill, and still providing heals. But if he was like enchanter, he'd be even way better. I just don't think that any top tier um demon or divine is going to be worth it with protector. I think protector's not that great overall. I think like things like phantom, striker, and enchanter are just way better. This is kind of like whatever. If you have it, you have it. If you don't, you don't. But his whole kit's really good. He's 106 speed, so he moves before most DPSs. His passive is a healing passive, so when any allies in your team get a crit, he's going to provide a heal to himself and everyone else. But if he applies a crit, he's not going to be able to apply a heal to himself. So his team's going to be able to apply many crits with the celestial buff and the ethereal buff, and also his crit. His ult applies crit rate, so when you ult, there's a chance of you applying crit rate to your team. So there's many ways you can apply a crit rate to your team, so they can apply healing to the team too when they crit. So overall, he is good. He's a good DPS. He's a DPS healer. He's definitely up there. One copy of him is really good. Multiple copies is better. He's never bad. He definitely can help you in the game because you actually don't want to have a healer in your team. There's supports that could do more things than just heal. So again, he's one of them. He's a DPS and a support. Next on this list is Nyx. She's definitely again up there. I'd say she's like the best single target nuker in the game, or I'll call them a sniper. In the backline, she can attack other backlines if you didn't know, and if she's in the front line, she'll attack any target. So again, you want to put her in the backline, and anyone in her sight, in line of sight, she's going to only attack that person until they're dead. Her synergies are amazing. Everything is basically damage increase. She's a Val unit, so again her damage is increased by that. She's also a demon, so her damage is increased when you have multiple copies, so that's also a good thing. And then the last thing, she's a striker. A striker is amazing for DPSs. Like people like her, if you get to like stage 4, stage 5, she's going to start be doing silly damage. The damage is insane, and she can potentially kill most backlines in the game with like two attempts. So again, she is really good, and she works with mostly the best characters in the game. Like her, for example, these two together are like the duo. That these two would get the job done. If you have 3 copies of both of them, you're going to be flying through PvP. If you can get more copies, that's great. If you have 1 copy of them, it's still good. They always work together, and they're characters that you should have if you want to use a Val team. Actually, we're talking about her right now. Actually, she's one of the best supports in the game. I'd say she is the best support in the game, but people might say she's not. She is only a support. She does crazy amounts of support into the team. She applies a heal. She increases damage. She's also a frontline, and she's really quick, so she can also get the damage increase off to every ally when you have 3 copies of her. She's also a Dawnbringer, so she's also going to be assisting in attacks. Her attacks are not that high, but if she has her own attack buff on her, it can be decent damage. But overall, her synergies are in line with other people. They're not like funky, like she doesn't have something like Shadow or whatever. They're all good in a DPS team, and she works with most teams. You can put her in a Doomsday team, you could put her in a Avenger team, you could put her in a, I don't know, a Mystified team, you could put her in a Ethereal team. She's overall a good character in the game. Even if you have one copy of her, she's really good, and she's quite cheap. You can get her for like $10 if you're new to the game, because she's there for like 7 days, I think. But yeah, best character in the game if you can get her in the 777 Valkyrie, or you can get her for free in the club shop. Next, she's a new character. I'd say she's also up there. The reason why I say she's up there, because she works in a Ethereal team really well. She has Celestial. Celestial increases crit rate by 15% and increases damage. If she can give this to other people in a Ethereal team, they're gonna be able to crit more. And like I just said with the previous hero in Ethereal, if allies crit, they're gonna heal. If she can increase crit rate to other allies, then they're gonna be basically consistently healing everyone in their team. And there's other characters like that who in Ethereal, if they crit, something happens. So again, an amazing character for someone that has Celestial in a crit team. She's Ethereal herself, again, increase in crit rate. And the best thing about her is that she has Enchanter. Enchanter is actually, I would say, the best synergy in the end. I don't know, how would I say it? The last synergy. Yeah, you know how every character has like 3 or 4 synergies? I say Enchanter is the best one at the end. I say Enchanter's the best, then Striker. But if you have 4 Enchanters, you're gonna go crazy. In the late game, you're going crazy. You would win most of your games. Enchanter is really annoying to deal with, and Enchanter can be used with other characters in the game to make confusion even more annoying. And Enchanter can save you games based off luck. It's really good if you have this at 4. If you have it at 1, or not 1, so if you have it at 2, it's quite terrible. If you have it at 3, it's like, yeah, it's okay, it's not really working out. If you have it at 4 or 5, then you're gonna go crazy. And enchanters have a lot of people that can work in the Ethereal team. So if you're running Ethereal, try get Enchanter to 4, and then you'll be winning all your PvP games, and your PvE will be just as easy. This is something for the whales or the end game. If you're free to play, I wouldn't say aim for this, but maybe in due time, maybe like 6 months from now, you can probably get a weaker Enchanter team going on if you have her in the early game as a free to play player. Next, we're talking about a free character. I'll say she's free. Well, she's $1, but let's say that's free. I'd put her in S. The reason why I put her in S is because she's easy to obtain, because you can get her for like $1. She's easy to build. You can get her from, can you get her from, yeah, you can get her from multiple places like shops and stuff. So you can build her even more. Again, easy character to build because you get her for like $1, and you can get her in other places. Her synergies, she has Dawnbringer. Dawnbringer is really good in a DPS team because we just explained someone else in Valiantors that has the Dawnbringer, so she can synergize with them, and she's a Val person herself, so she also has that and her Dawnbringer. The bad thing about her is that she has Protectors, and Protectors is something that you don't want to run it in a Val team because she's the only person in Val that has Dawnbringer, and that's a bit of a problem because if you're running a Val team, you most likely want to have 4 or 5 of them. Most people aim for 5 because 5 Val is basically something that does the best damage output. If you're only going for that burst, if you're going for 4, then you have to have a unique character that can probably use something else, which is not obviously Protectors. It'll probably be like Striker or something, and no one's going to make a character just for the Protector, so it's just kind of weird in that case. I wouldn't say she's amazing. She is a good damage dealer, single target that can also be AoE target, but you're required to get a kill. And if you do reach the late game, you can use Nyx over her. Nyx is just better. They literally are the same people. They both go for that one shot. But the good thing about her is that she can do an AoE attack after getting a one shot. And with Nyx, she would just wipe you off the map late game because she has the striker buff. Next in this list is another enchanter. I'd put him up there too. He works really well with her. They're like, again, they can work really well. Both enchanters, not so both both enchanters. So again, like I said, if you have a enchanter team, you can run both of them in the same team. Now the good thing about it is that they both are in an ethereal team, so if you're going for an ethereal enchanter team, you can easily make it. But the bad thing about that is that you're not going to have five enchanters or four enchanters, and you're going to have four ethereal. There's going to be like maybe three ethereal or four ethereal and three enchanters. So again, really good character. He also increases his own crit rate. He doesn't apply crit rate to his teammate, so don't worry about that. He increases his crit rate, so he's able to heal and give people shields when he's in a ethereal team. But outside the ethereal team, I wouldn't say he's that amazing, because there is people better than him, like her. She can easily be better than him outside of the ethereal team. But overall, good character, and I'd advise people to get him if there's ways of getting him for free. This new character, we're putting him back here. I have no idea if he's good or not. I'll just say he's C. I've never seen him been used, and if he was that good, I would have seen him be used by now. Don't take my opinion on him. I have no idea. I don't know if it's even a him or her. I have no idea. Just don't take my opinion on him. I'll put him at C or B if I had to guess. I wouldn't say he's amazing. Otherwise, people will be talking about it, and I'm using him myself or her. Who's next? Victoria? I'm pretty sure she's Victoria. Yeah, she's good. I wouldn't say, actually, no way. I'll say she's S. I wouldn't say she's high S. She's a good frontline. She works in Valiantors. She has Celestial. The only bad thing about this is that people in Valiantors actually don't use Celestial, but Celestial alone is not that great. Like, increasing crit rate and damage is okay. If you had more, then it would be better. But she doesn't work great in a Val team. She is really good. She's obviously one of the best Val users, but she's not something that could be better than Nyx, for example. If you have Nyx, use Nyx. Don't use her over Nyx. She is a good frontline. She's bulky. She is got good speed, just like Nyx. But her synergies don't match as well as Nyx in the Val team. But she's just as good. Good frontline, good damage. But she's not as amazing. But it's someone that you want to run in a Val team, and you can maybe run her an outside of her Val team. But let's say from now, 4 months from now, more Val users actually come out, more Val demons, more Val divines. She most likely would lose her spot, because most characters are going to have better synergies than her, and she's going to be replaced by someone else that's also better than her. So I'll put her in S. You could put in high S, whatever. This is actually not in order. I just put them there because they were there. I didn't already in order, but I'll say she's at high S. She's a new character actually. She came out like 2 weeks ago. I'd say she's A. The reason why I say she's A is because she doesn't actually work great in a Val team herself. You don't actually need her in a Val team. She's Val for just the sake of being Val, because they didn't want to make her too OP. I'd say she can even be S in other teams. I'd say she can be S in the Doomsday team. In Doomsday, she can be S. If she's outside Doomsday team, it's maybe A, because outside of a Doomsday team, her synergies are not as perfect, and her purpose is not that good. Like, she's a healer, right? If you're using a Val team, you already got a healer. She does the healing. You want people to burst and get kills. She will do the healing after the kill. And again, her synergies. Again, she has Enchanter. I said again, Enchanter is good. It's amazing. You want to aim to get Enchanter. It's the best one out of the end synergies. But you don't want to use her in a Val team, because Val doesn't actually have a lot of enchanters. In a Doomsday team, yes, there is quite a lot of enchanters, and in the future, I do see more enchanters in Doomsday. And even her second synergy is again a really good Doomsday synergy, because Doris has it, Merlin has it. There's so many people in Doomsday that have this synergy. So again, good in Doomsday, bad in other places, I guess. And she's a straight on healer. She doesn't actually do much. She just heals and increases damage. If an ally gets a kill, she increases their attack by 5%, and it can only max out to 5. But overall, she's just straight healing. That's it. She's just a healer with decent speed, not even amazing, decent speed. 113 is not amazing, because 113, 125, and better synergies. Who is next? Yeah, she's also S or SS, I guess. She does crazy damage, like really crazy damage. If you have multiple copies of her, she will be an annoyance to people, and she will apply a lot of pressure because her damage is really high. She is a demon, not a divine, so her celestial is her demon's gonna work with other people like Nyx, and because, like I said, she's not a celestial, right? If she was a celestial, she can work with Victoria, but she most likely works better with a Nyx than a Victoria. They do share the same buff, it's the end one. They do share this, and they do share their main role, which is Valiantors. But I'd say she's more of a Nyx worker, I guess. But in the same team, they're all good. If you run her, Nyx, and Victoria, they're all good together. But if you can only get select few, I'd say Nyx and her would do better together than Victoria and her, because Victoria and her require more copies to be even having the same synergy. But Nyx and herself, you only need 2 of each, and then they automatically are working together even better than these 2. But if you're a whale or a super late game, run all 3 of them. If you're early game, mid game, or you can only or like spender, these 2 would be better because they're light investment and they can work easy together right quite quickly. And her speed is slower than Nyx and Victoria, but it doesn't matter. It's only 1 speed. Who's next? Ellie? Is Ellie or Emily? Which one? Who is this? Ellie. I'd say she's like A tier. Her synergy is decent. She has Striker. Well, again, one of the best, not the best, one of the best. Striker could work with, I think, who can work Striker? Striker doesn't actually work with much people but herself. If you run her in a Val team, not a Val team, but if you run her in a Ethereal team, she can work with Ellie. But Ellie's more of a, I'm a Val, but I can work in Avengers. That's who she is. She works in Avengers, she works better in Avengers than a Val, in my opinion, because she has more things that can work with a Val. Like, for example, Shadow can work with Persephone and Solomon. It increases dodge rate, and if you have all 3 of them in a team, most likely most people are going to have all 3 of them in a team. If you can't get the higher versions of these characters, then you're going to increase the dodge rate to everyone in the team by 15%, because these 3 work together like amazing together. They're so good together with having dodge rate. And then on top of that, you're going to have Striker, and Solomon has Striker in his kit too. So if you are making a Avengers team, you can make her work with Solomon really well. They share double synergies, and even him, who is this actually? Wait, I need to check. Yeah, even he has Striker, and he's one of the best Avengers DPS in the game. He's one of the best DPS in the game anyway, but he's one of the best Avengers DPS and one of the best DPS in the game. He does crazy damage to every single target, and he is really scary to play against. And he works with Striker, so if you do have Ellie and him in the same team, it's really good because they're both working Avengers, and they both share a lot of the same buffs, which is, again, she works with Persephone, Solomon, and him. So she's not that great in Ethereal, but she's outside Ethereal, she's better. Next, this is the one-shot character. I'd say she's A or high A, maybe low S. The only bad thing about her is that she doesn't actually share any other good synergies with Valiantors. She is a good Valiantors DPS. She can one-shot the backline. She can one-shot random targets. Well, it's not random. It's like the one of the lowest HP, but that basically bases off gear and the enemy having different type of runes and lower gear. So let's say someone had a different target that was lower than another team. She's always going to aim for the lowest target HP, and again, I consider that random because it's not going to be the same target for every different opponent. So again, she's kind of iffy. She can one-shot people. Her speed's okay, 102. It's not amazing, it's okay. Her damage potential can be even higher when you run it in a full Val team, but apart from that, if you do become late game, there is other people that you can use over her, and she kind of loses her spot in the Val team because, again, her synergies are bad with Val, and she's a random DPS. She attacks the person with the lowest HP, and you don't want that in your team. You kind of want someone that could do more than that. They can attack multiple people and attack the person that is the bigger threat. So, for example, like I mentioned before, if you're playing against like a Nyx, for example, you kind of want to get rid of her before she builds up Striker, because every time a turn goes, they get the Striker buff. And if a Nyx is like on round 8, she's going to be scary. And you don't want her randomly trying to aim for random targets. You want her killing that Nyx immediately and getting rid of it. So again, the randomness is kind of shit in my opinion. And she has an AoE attack. I think it's F2. Oh no, it's not. It's not an AoE. So what? No. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. Her basic attack. Wait, it's not a basic attack. Okay. She doesn't hit anyone. It's just one random target. Okay. Maybe I saw different when I played against her. But yeah, she's just single target DPS, and her ult is just random. It goes for the person with lowest HP. So again, something that you don't want to invest in if you're making a Val team in the end game. So to me, she's an A. Dorabella, I'd say she's like high A. She has good synergies with the Val team. She does have Dawnbringer, so again, you can run her with other people like Katarina. The only bad thing about her is that she lacks in being not a Valkyrie, sorry, a ethereal damage dealer. Sorry, I couldn't even get that out. She lacks in being a ethereal damage dealer because there's obviously people better than her. Her last synergy actually doesn't work with much people in Val. It doesn't even work with anyone in Val actually. Again, that's really bad. If you're running her in a Val team, well, not a Val team, so if you're running her in a ethereal team, you want her to have the most synergies as possible. And like I mentioned, everyone in a ethereal team can work together way better than Dorabella. Dorabella struggles to have synergy with most people. The only good side about her is that she has Dawnbringer twice. She has Dawnbringer synergy and she has Dawnbringer in her passive. So again, she can heal and apply shields a lot from the other synergy teammates, but by herself, she's not that good. If these two died, like for example, if Katarina died and the other person died who can heal, she lacks in actually being a purpose in the team. She has AoE a lot. There's a lot of AoE in her kit, which is nice, but she doesn't actually work better than anyone else in the ethereal team. And I feel like if you are late game, you don't need to run her because she is actually someone that is for the early to mid game. The ultra late game, you can invest or have someone better than her. And in the future, there'll be better characters than her anyway, and she may be better in another team than Ethereal in the future. And her speed's quite low too, 100. Again, most people are like 103 or higher. The divine DPSs are like 106, so again, pretty low. Anubis, putting her in B. It can be even C, yeah. The only good thing about her is that she's a support and she's quick. 116 is good because she can apply the shield and heal from other people in ethereal like Katarina. Wait, I'll explain it now because it sounds weird that I said people can apply a shield. Every time an ally gets a crit, there's a chance to apply a shield. Of course, if you get this up, it'll be better. But she can apply a shield. No, a chance. Sorry, that was incorrect. Every time an ally gets a crit, she can apply a shield. I meant to say when there's a chance for someone to get a crit, then she can apply a shield. But yeah, when someone gets a crit and her team by herself, she can apply a shield to her team based off her own attack. Yeah, that's what I meant to say. And you're probably thinking, why does that bond with Anubis? Because they both work in a ethereal team and her passive increases crit rate by 10%. So again, if you're playing against a Val team, they're all about damage. They want to kill you immediately. She's quicker than all the DPSs. She's quicker than Nick. She's quicker than Victoria. She's quicker than everyone that's a DPS in the Val team. So in like round 6, round 8, whatever, in the late phase of the match, she can put a shield up by working with the other people in ethereal or get a heal up before taking the big burst of damage from everyone's ultimate, because there's a chance that she goes before everyone else when she's not taunted or stunned, and make sure she crits on multiple targets, healing and shielding your teammate, so when the other DPSs go after her in the enemy team, she will make other people survive and not die. But apart from that, she dog shit. Don't use her. If you're free to play, try to get rid of her as quick as possible, because she's not actually good in ethereal and she's not actually good outside of ethereal, sadly. She probably works best in in ethereal team actually. You probably can use her in Mystifier, but I don't see why you would want to do that. But she works best in ethereal, and she works also decently in Avengers. Avengers and Mystifiers is that she can work well with, and she obviously works the best in her own role, which is Ethereal, but she's overall a dog shit character, and you don't want to use her. Is this Diana? Who is this? Free to play character, that's all I know. Yeah, free to play. I'd say she's high B. Obviously she lacks being an actual legendary because doesn't have legendary stats. Her speed's really good for her status of being a four-star legendary, whatever you want to call it, 4-star gold unit, whatever. Well, 95 is good. It would be nice if it was like 100. She'll be one of the slower DPSs if you run her in a stronger team or run against a stronger team than her. Her synergies are decent. She has enchanter, again, that's a plus. She's a validator, that's also good because she can be in a validator team or she can be in a enchanter team. She can't be in a doomsdayer team. This is something that you don't want to run in a doomsdayer team because you don't want someone doing damage. It's all about being tanky and sustaining, and she doesn't do much damage anyway in a doomsdayer team. And if she's in an enchanter team, that's the best that she can do. In a Val team, it's more like a budget. If you run her in a Val team as a budget, if you run her in a Doom team with enchanters, it's also a budget. But if you're going to run an enchanter team in the first place, you're not going to be on a budget because that's something that requires a lot of money and a lot of investment and a lot of time. So yeah, overall a B character, not much to talk about. I'm gonna put all these in B because there's no point because everyone's gonna have these max in the first place. I'd say he's high B. Again, he's really slow, decent damage, works well on the Val team. Val is his best team. Outside of Val, he's not good. Only run him in a Val team, I'd say. Next, I'll put him in like low A. I'd say he's actually really good in the Ethereal team, and he can work outside of the Ethereal team. He can even work in a Val team. If you're on a budget, he can still work in decent teams. He's obviously the best budget in the game. If you're on a ultra free to play, he's obviously the best unit for a free to play character. If you want to breathe through the game, breathe through PvE, and be decent in PvP, he's obviously the guy. He has Ethereal, he has Dawnbringer and Striker. That's like one of the best you're gonna get from a free to play character that can be maxed out. The speed is really slow. He's 89, sadly. He is single target. He does a bunch of damage if he does get to like a late phase in the match or the fight, the battle, whatever. He has bad stats because he's not obviously a legendary, but overall, if you're ultra free to play, he's really good. If you're mid game, he could somewhat be a small replacement until you max out someone else. Have I used him? Yes. Would I recommend people to use him? If you're late game, no. If you're mid game, perhaps. If you're early game, for sure. If you're free to play, definitely. Next, who is this? Oh yeah, okay. He's kind of okay. I'm gonna put him in A, or not in A actually. I put him in high B. The only good thing about him is that he is actually someone that can counter Nyx. If you're playing against a budget team, you're probably thinking how is he a good counter to Nyx? If you're a free to play player and you come across a Nyx team that's not that built up, it's just like someone has one copy of Nyx and he slaps it in the team. He's decent against Nyx. That's about it. He's not good overall. He does decent damage. His synergies are bad in a Ethereal team. But the only reason why I said he's good against Nyx because Nyx can only single targetly attack one person until they're dead if she's in the back line. If she's in the front line, she can attack multiple people. But let's say, for example, I'll just give you an example, right? We can go to battle. By the way, if you want to run silver, it just reset. But let's say this, for example, right? Nyx is here and he's here. He's number 4 and Nyx is in number 4 on the enemy team. If you put him here and his dodge rate increases, she's going to have a hard time to kill him because she can only kill number 4 until number 4 is dead. She can attack 1, 3, 4, 2, or 5. She can attack these other numbers, but she can't attack anyone else until 4 is dead. Until 4 is dead, she can attack 1, 3, 5, or 2, but she can't attack those until 4 is dead. And why is that a good thing that he can counter Nyx like that? Because he has insanely high dodge rate. Where is he? His dodge rate is insanely high. He has dodge rate in his synergy, and it goes up by 15, and it obviously works with his allies and whatever. If you have them have multiple copies, he can work good in the Mystifier team if you want to use the Mystifier team against a Val team. He has Phantom, so again, let's say he's in the Phantom team and he dies because Nyx somehow hit him. Let's say Nyx got the chance and Nyx hit him and he died. He can come back alive and also be annoying again. He also has a good passive. Increases his crit rate, or his dodge rate increases after time. And he's got his ult that increases dodge rate. That again, late game, he can have a lot of dodge rate with his synergy and his ultimate ability and his passive, and be an annoyance to Nyx. But apart from that, he dog shit. He terrible. He's just like the free to play budget Nyx counter. But if you're like a whale mid light spender, mid spender, then you don't want to use him. But if you're free to play and you're having trouble playing against a Val team, because perhaps that guy has one Nyx and decent characters all around, this is the only character that I can say that can deal with Nyx without having no problem. So that's basically like I'll say it's like a 4. I'll say it's a 4v5. If you're playing against Nyx, it's a 4v5 if you have him, because he basically makes Nyx garbage. If you're free to play and you're playing against someone that has Nyx that's also not that good at the game, or has crazy amount of investment. But if you're playing against a whale that has Nyx, you're going to die because everyone else can kill you. But if you're playing against a player like yourself, he might be free to play and you might be free to play. And he might be lucky and got a Nyx and put it in his team, and he's running a Val team and you're running an Ethereal team and you're also free to play. This is the only counter I can see him being good. Or he could be a Mystifier team running against a Val team and you use him against Nyx. It's the only good thing. Apart from that, he dog shit. Next, who's the last person? Karina, yeah, she's straight S tier. Every time an ally gets a crit in your team, she applies a shield. She has great AoE damage. She attacks everyone in the enemy team. She can attack the backline and the front line. She's overall a good character. Her base movement speed is 95. It is Garbo. 95 is dog shit for a DPS, but you don't care about that. She's not really there for the DPS. She's there to be the support, but she's also a DPS. She's both. So even though that she's slow, she's slow, but she also provides something by being slow, because she can also give people a shield for just existing. So again, that's the good thing about her. Her synergies, Ethereal, really good. She can be an Ethereal team. She's got Dawnbringer, really good. If you're on a budget, she can work with Doorbella really well. And then she has the Protectors. Again, there's only one person that has Protector in Ethereal, and it's him. And they both are like the supportive DPS kind. So if you have both of these maxed out, they'll be harder to kill as time goes on. This is the defensive striker. And if you're like on round 8, they're going to be really tanky to kill, because they both can synergize together and be tanky later in the game. But the Protectors is not amazing, so don't get your hopes up. It's okay. But overall, she's an S tier character, or double S actually. She can work outside Ethereal. She can work in Ethereal. All you have to do is have crit rate. So if you put her in a Val team and they have Celestial, this basically, if they have this increasing crit rate, and then they have other things that can increase crit rate in that team, she can work with them. She can only work in a team that actually can proc crits. If they can't proc crits, it's basically useless. But again, she's good in most teams, and she's also a good target or a good character in the game. She's really bad if you don't have a 2-star. She's terrible if you don't have 2-star. You have to have a 2-star. This unlocks when you have 2 copies of her. Yes, that's what I mean by 2-star. You have to have 2 copies of her to be good. If you have 1 copy, she's shit. She's useless. Don't even bother thinking that you could do the stuff like people do with her if they have 2 or more. If you have 2 or more, you could do crazy things. If you don't have 2 or more, if you don't have 1, if you don't have 2, so I won't even say it. If you don't have 2, you're not going to be doing what you should be doing with 2. And you have more than 2, that's even better. If you have 1, I'd say use someone else. I'd say Ellie. Ellie's better than her at 1. That might sound crazy. People might disagree, but I think Ellie is probably better than her at 1 star. And I think Doorbella even be decent against her at level 1. But once she gets 2 copies, she's OP like that everyone else. So yeah, that's it. I didn't go in detail and talk about all their abilities because that's not about the tier list. I'm talking about the tier list as in, if you get them, use them. You can obviously read it for yourself, but you don't have to read it because I just told you why they're good. That's really the purpose of why they're good. My in-depth my in-depth guide would be maybe next week or something, where I speak about their exclusive runes. I'll talk about the teams they're good in, that everything about them, basically. But for now, this is about Val and Ethereal and talking about how good they are and where you should put them. And that's about it. If you're wondering, I'm not a Val user. I use Ethereal because I like Ethereal over Val, but I'm actually a Doomsdayer. But if you are a Doomsday player, it's really hard to use Doomsday early game. So I'd suggest to get an Ethereal team. Because if you get an Ethereal team, this is for the Doomsday players. If you're not Doomsday, you can leave the video. Thanks for watching. I like the support that you watch this video. But if you are a Doomsday player, I'd recommend you stay here quickly. If you are a Doomsday player, I'd recommend you go into Ethereal for the early game and then build an Ethereal. And then in the late game, if you do reach the late game, you'll be able to get this, right? I've nearly got it myself. This is really strong. This is like one of the best red relics or legendary relics. They both work for Ethereal and Doomsday, so that's really good. So if you do happen to be a Doomsday user, go straight to Ethereal, use Ethereal, build Ethereal, and then once you do reach the late game, go back to Doomsday and build Doomsday, and then you'll be good again. And then you can use this relic in Doom and Ethereal. So again, Doomsdayers, please use Ethereal. And if you're a Ethereal player, you don't have to go to Doomsdayer. I wouldn't suggest going to Doomsdayer if you're Ethereal. But if you're a Doomsdayer player, go to Ethereal. And if you're Ethereal, you can just branch out and go somewhere else if you want to. But yeah, if you'd like the video, please like and subscribe. I think it will help me and everyone else. If you want to ask any questions in the comments, ask them. If you did think my guide was incorrect, again, that's your personal opinion. This is what I think from my experience. And if there's any more questions on what the next video could be or might be, just put it in the comments. But yeah, thanks for watching the video. If it did help, please let me know so I can make the next one about Mystifiers or about Doomsdayer and explain it better. And if there's anything I left out, again, put it in the comments and I'll try and explain it as best I can. But yeah, thanks for watching.